Hi, welcome to the session. VAS is an organization that is focused on making workplaces more progressive, productive, and gender balanced. Every month, VAS hosts the Global Diversity Series, where corporate leaders from different parts of the world are engaged on a topic around diversity and inclusion. Today, we are exploring Emiratization. While audience members who have joined from the UAE might be familiar with the topic, for audience members elsewhere, Emiratization is an initiative introduced by the UAE government to promote the employment of UAE nationals within the private sector. We have with us today May Al Mansoori, who's an AVP with Emirates NBD, the leading bank of UAE. And May will be sharing her insights on the importance of this movement. Before I ask May for her views, I would like to introduce May. May comes with a distinguished career dedicated to fostering talent development and driving Emiratization strategy. And she has made a profound impact in the realm of human resources and psychology. Through strategic leadership and a passion for empowering UAE nationals, May successfully spearheaded initiatives that have transformed the paradigm of Emiratization agenda. She has meticulously designed comprehensive programs and fostered a culture of diversity and inclusion. She implemented a strategic plan that has successfully paved the way for Emirati talents to thrive within Emirates NBD. Beyond her professional achievements, May is recognized for her empathy, and she also serves as a role model for aspiring Emirati professionals. She holds a master's degree in international human resources management from Coventry University, where she honed her expertise in understanding human behavior and its application to the workplace. Complementing her academic journey, she also pursued a second master's degree in big data and business analysis from ESCP, further deepening her knowledge and insights into data driven HR strategies and organizational development. My name is Debabrat Mishra. I have been a consultant and advisor around leadership, human resources, board governance, and innovation. And it is my pleasure to be able to host May and ask her for her views around Emiratization.
Thanks a lot,
Welcome, May.
Mr. Debo. It's really amazing to have this experience and have this opportunity to be talking to you today. And as you know, working in amortization is as crazy as it is today to me. I'm actually starting the session while I am in the car until I reach to my next destination to be able to have the session more clearly. So I'm very excited about this interview, and I think today we will be able to talk about the importance of amortization even more in depth. Thank you so
No,
much.
thank you, May, for making time for this. And uh, let's begin by first getting your views around what is the significance of Emiratization in today's workforce and the economy of UAE, and how has it evolved over the past few years? Please share your perspective on that.
Definitely, amortization and Emirates NBD is has always been not just words to use, but it's really ingrained in our DNA. When we work in amortization, it's more into ability to use our youth and our own homegrown nation in regards to having a successful organization. If you think of it, it's an easy calculation. Successful nation equals successful organization within the country. So it is purely from moral ethics perspective to look at amortization rather than just focusing on it from amortization target perspective.
That's a very interesting perspective. So, if the nation has to succeed, its citizens have to succeed, and Emiratization is helping the citizens succeed by building careers. Now, what are the key objectives, for the country's workforce? So, what advice do you have on how Emiratization can help preserve cultural heritage in the UAE as a nation?
Now the beauty about amortization is you're looking at the Emiratis within the country. So you're actually looking at the nationals of the country. And it is definitely a very important aspect when it comes to building the nation from that angle. Now, within Emirates NBD in specific, we really praise our culture. We really embed this culture within our day-to-day lives. As simple as ensuring that all our workforce is simply delivered with the aspect of UAE national culture. So definitely that's something we look into within Emirates NBD, and that's something that is part of our day-to-day job.
You had shared your perspective around how you are driving this within Emirates NBD, and I would like to pull up one of the visuals you had shared, which was very interesting, which is the framework. Could you take some time to explain the framework to the audience and highlight what are the key aspects of this?
Definitely, I would love to. But before we do that, Mr. Debo, would you be able to let me know more about? So I just wanted to. Sorry, I'm. It's really cutting off. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So, Mr. Debo, if you can actually share your point of view on the amortization aspect from your extensive experience, I would love to hear that from you first.
Look, it's interesting that you asked me that question. I have been, a part of advisory and consulting, and I've seen the initial years of Emiratization, and now I find it very interesting that in a nation which has largely a very strong expatriate workforce, Emiratization is actually increasing diversity and inclusion by making the nationals a part of the workforce. So I see that as a very strong progress for the success of the nation, as you pointed out. And the second aspect, which I found very interesting, and we had exchanged some notes on it, is that when you start looking at Emiratization, you are not talking about creating jobs for Emiratis, but preparing jobs for Emiratis for the jobs or the predominant jobs which are there. So I find that as a very interesting shift, that you are looking at preparing nationals so that they can take up jobs of significance or the jobs which are there in the workforce and available within the economy. So that's my perspective around Emiratization. May? Okay. So I think we lost the connection a bit because of some technical difficulties. So in the meanwhile, can we go back to the graphic and till May joins us back? Uh, so one of the pieces around Emiratization framework that is being deployed at Emirates NBD seems to be this connect, grow, and empower frame. Uh, and May had a very interesting perspective around it, which was that they are looking at a funnel which starts pretty early. So right from the campuses, partnerships, and programs. And I would love to hear from her about the specific initiatives that she's driving at Emirates NBD uh, to build a talent pool that is relevant for the bank, and the bank supporting the nationals in finding careers and finding opportunities even outside. So both these aspects for the bank and for the larger economy in general. So I'm just looking for May coming back. I think there she is. Thank you, May.
I'm really sorry. I have some challenges
No
joining.
worries. This is a fast-moving world. We can make it to different parts. Excellent connectivity as well. So, the question that I wanted to ask you is that when you look at Emiratization, I had shared my perspective, and
Yeah.
we were also very curious about the framework that you're using at Emirates NBD. So, my question to you was that are you only preparing talent for Emirates NBD, or you are generally investing in talent and some part of them will come into Emirates NBD, but they would also go and work in other private sector organizations in the country?
Definitely. Mr. Debo, amortization is a strategy that works for the whole nation. If we think of it from training our youth to reach to such level, we will be able to graduate Emiratis that are within the quality that is expected for the country. So definitely whatever we do within the Emirati population is not just benefit for Emirates NBD group, but it comes for the whole other organizations, the ability to create better families, better future for the country. So definitely, number one, we need to ensure that we focus on our UAE nationals when it comes to development and growth. And if you can show the framework that we were talking about. So within the framework that we were talking about, it's basically creating the foundation for UAE nationals into three streams. We have the connect, grow, and empower. This is something we have done based on analysis, based on sitting with Emiratis and understanding the gap that is required in order to be able to develop future leaders from our own nation. So, and this is a simple solution in order to create any amortization unit under different companies in UAE. So, this is a very good tool to use when it comes to amortization as a department. We think of it from number one, streamlining your processes, splitting it into connect, grow, and empower. This is the big summary of amortization job. Number one, connect. How can we really connect with Emiratis? We need to interact with them on a daily basis. You won't be able to manage Emiratis if you treat them as aliens. So you really need to integrate UAE nationals under the workforce that you have in your organization. So connect, number one, is definitely a necessity, and you need to ensure that you listen to your UAE nationals on a regular basis. And how can you do so? Do more of focus groups, do more of road shows. Road shows work brilliantly for us in Emirates NBD. Why? Because within the road show, we can invite UAE nationals and other nationalities to understand what's the actual culture of UAE nationals. What's the foundation of creating the amortization journey as a whole, the strategy as a whole. So definitely communicating with our Emiratis or connecting with our Emiratis was our first foundation in order to build a successful amortization strategy. And then you notice we have another part which is very important also, which is grow. When we listen to Emiratis, and this is something that I have noticed personally as a person who works within the amortization field, that we create special roles for UAE nationals. And we say, you know what, it's simpler. Let's bring a UAE national to do a teller job. And let's do 30 of them. So we're going to bring a lot of UAE nationals, but that's not actually the right solution. The right solution is not to create special roles for UAE nationals in order to tick on the box and said, yay, we made it. We brought Emiratis into the company. Definitely that's not what we aim for within the amortization agenda. The amortization agenda is all about growing and upskilling our UAE nationals to reach to such level. If you say, May, I cannot find an Emirati who is a data scientist, I might tell you, I agree with you, maybe 15 years back, but today we are able to find such unique skill sets within our UAE nationals. If we couldn't find the skill set, I urge organizations to start looking into upskilling their own Emiratis. And I have a very successful story I would like to share with you, Mr. Debo, and to our kind audience. Within Emirates NBD, we decided to create a project called Future Ready. And this project was done 2 years back. And the project is all about upskilling and reskilling our Emiratis. And definitely everything I'm sharing with you includes diversity and inclusion. From which angle? From the angle of it's not only specially for UAE nationals, but there is a bit of a taste on amortization, but it's delivered for all of our employees. However, the Future Ready project, we had to put Emiratis on reskilling them from a teller job to data analysts. We were able to be very fortunate with a very successful number. We had around 1,500 UAE nationals that completed data science courses, and out of which we had successful stories of Emiratis leaving the teller job into joining the data scientist or data analysis world. So this just shows you that we are ahead of the game when it comes to planning for the future. predicting the future is not someone who's sitting in a holding a glass bowl and saying, what can it be, right? It's mostly about doing your own homework, doing analytics, predictive analytics on current data and how you can utilize that data for the future. And that's where we came up with this Future Ready project. It was purely for the sake of ensuring we are ready for the future and transferring our teller roles into more skills on demand roles such as data science. I hope I'm not boring you here, Mr. Vivo, am
No,
I?
that's such a great example.
Thank you.
I love the fact that when you're talking about grow, you're thinking ahead. You're thinking about the skills and the roles that will be the future roles, and you're preparing nationals to fulfill those roles. And I love the part of the story where you talked about how you transformed tellers into data science roles. So that's actually true growth. So you're taking people who only had teller skills and you're empowering them and growing them into skill sets of the future. That's a fantastic story. I had a I had a very specific question for you, May. Your role is what is defined as strategic HR. This is about the talent development, diversity, and inclusion. So it's at the juncture of or the convergence of the two.
Yeah.
You are also a role model for other nationals who are aspiring to pick up strategic roles. Uh, how do you share your story with young Emiratis? What are the mechanisms that you use to share your own story of how you reached here?
Thank you so much, Mr. Deep. I would love to share that. And honestly, whatever I'm going to share, I really hope that there will be a lesson learned for others in regards to what experiences I've had throughout my journey. So, number one, within my role amortization, I work more of the glue between different departments. So, for a successful amortization lead person within any organization, this person will have to have building a rapport kind of a or relationship management kind of a skill, because you will be able to link with learning and development and say, are you able to create such and such tools in order to uh, in order to develop my Emirati population. The second part is you need to work closely with talent management, talent acquisition, in order to fill in the amortization portfolio. So, if I can share part of my personal story, I don't believe that any organization will focus on my personal growth on my behalf. So the message here is you need to take that for yourself. Find the available tools for you as a UAE national or any employee, any nationality. I don't think it's only especially for UAE nationals. All the tools that we deliver within amortization is actually mirrored for expats. The only difference here is that we focus more on the growth piece in supporting Emiratis to understand what does it mean for them to be the minority in that specific department and how can they work around that. There are a couple of challenges that any Emirati might have faced during their journey, which is stereotyping. As an Emirati myself, you might see me as a talkative person. I enjoy actually working. I'm a workaholic, but at the same time, I see myself within the high quality of Emirati population. But there are, unfortunately, just as any other nationality, there are the poor performing Emiratis that majorly struggle with finding jobs or keeping their own jobs. And that could impact the stereotyping dilemma, which is basically Emiratis could be lazy or Emiratis could be less interested in the working environment. And just to let you know, Mr. Debo, we treat, and that's again, I always go back to the diversity and inclusion piece, because we treat every employee the same. We have the same disciplinary actions provided for a national or an expat. And when we deal with poor performing Emiratis, we have to ensure that they are aware that they are poor performers. Now, that's another challenge I noticed within my career. is that many poor performers don't know they are poor performers, and that's the language barrier could be between the Emirati or their management. So we ensured that UAE nationals in specific, as this is my portfolio, I always say UAE nationals. So as a UAE national portfolio, I have to ensure that all my employees within this portfolio know what are they rated, why are they rated this way, how can you do better next year. So we actually work on a lot of performance improvement planning when it comes to poor performing UAE nationals. Not that we have a lot of them, but I'm sure this is all part of the diversity within performance, nationality, and delivery.
That's very heartening to hear. And if I were to take the two elements that you have shared so far, that
Yeah.
you are not creating special roles for Emiratis. That's not a part of the initiatives that you're driving, and you're not giving any special treatment. So they're treated as equals, just like any other employee would be treated. Their performance management, their performance improvement, everything is the same set of policies. That's
Yeah.
really encouraging to hear. I had You had shared that there are two specific programs that you have been running. Could you share some details about the two programs that you have running at Emirates NBD?
Definitely, the two programs we run today within Emirates NBD, not because I'm looking after them, but I really do several benchmarking with other organizations, and I can see that we were able to tick several boxes. We have some areas that we need to focus on within a nice facelift to the actual program, but looking at it from the big picture, I think the programs that we have today was able to shelter the needs of the fresh graduates from start till end. So as you can see on the screen, we have two programs today within Emirates NBD Group. When I say Emirates NBD Group, I mean Emirates Islamic and Tanfeed as well as entities under Emirates NBD. And you can see we have Bidaya and then we have Ruwad. Let's start with Bidaya. Bidaya means beginning. And the beginning of any fresh graduate will require more of a hand holding or introductory to the workplace type of a program. They have never been in a working environment. They have always been assigned tasks in their own universities. So this whole shift of skills, of expectation, is smoothly done within our Bidaya program. We do a lot of training on how to understand the values of Emirates MBD, how to manage your own tasks, how to be a person who has their own assigned tasks and deliver them. We always say there's no spoon feeding within Emiratisation or within Bidaya program. So fresh graduates are assigned a specific role from day one, and they go for a 12 months journey on how they can implement this role within that period. Now, why did we put this period from the beginning, or why did we decide on putting this 12 months period? Is to smoothly transition fresh graduates into the working environment. But the ability of our UAE nationals is seamless. If I hire data scientists, I'm expecting them to deliver. There's no doubt on that. So that's another key takeaway from today's session is please ensure that you give meaningful work to your fresh graduates. Don't think it's too much risk to give them whatever they have been hired for. So that's a gap that we noticed within many organizations in terms of the fear of giving real meaningful tasks to their fresh graduates. And Bidaya program aims to also overcome that challenge in regards to increasing awareness to the line management, particularly in those roadshows or the regular performance management discussions that we have with line managers in regards to their trainees. So it's more of fast-paced feedback to your fresh graduates, and we will be able to continuously be the Emirati advocate in terms of giving them direction on how to continue managing their Emiratis We've had so many questions from expat line managers saying, am I able to give my Emirati a warning letter? And we say, definitely you can if they're not performing well, if they have a challenge. But we also suggest or recommend giving them a development plan in advance so that they can improve within a set period of time before you do go for a consequence management directly. So we do look into that as well.
And in terms of if somebody were to ask, saying that, the initiatives are fine, so we are putting in a lot of effort, but what are the indicators or measures that
Yeah.
should be used to measure the impact? So, and how do you measure whether you have been successful or not? So, any insights on that? How are you measuring your initiatives, and what would you advise others who want to do something similar?
I think measuring success on Bidaya program in specific is the ability to transition a fresh graduate to a working environment, the ability to transition into giving them meaningful jobs, and then they will be able to deliver from day one until the year to come. So
So,
definitely measuring success. Go ahead.
so is it both the time taken to transition them and also the number of people you transition? Would you use those two measures?
Definitely, and probably also it's good to measure them from retention perspective. Are you actually looking after them, the Emiratis, after they have graduated from whatever program that you have designed? So that's another key takeaway from the session is if you have created a program, are you able to shelter the graduates of this program post graduating from your amortization program? So I can tell you today, we are creating roles for Emiratis upon joining the organization, and then post graduating from Bidaya program. Where are they going to head to? What are we predicting? What is our forecasting from that angle?
If if somebody were to come and ask you, you talked about the data analytics, tellers preparing them for data analytics. So as of today, what are the primary focus of skills that, from a future perspective, that you are currently, putting effort behind?
I think the skills that we are looking for are universal. It's not only for UAE as a country, and those skill sets definitely include the ability to become a tech savvy person, a futurist personality who can predict the future due to data analytics, data science. And we also believe that relationship management is another area that is really attractive within the field of banking, but also definitely in other industries. And that's what we do with Bidaya program. We actually hire based on future set of skills, not just filling the gap for today. We aspire to fill the gap for today, and it will proceed for the next at least decade. So we do look into it from that angle. And the beauty about the Bidaya program is that we do hire in volumes. So as you know, Emirates NBD is one of the biggest banks in the country, and we definitely have our own interests and ethics to hire bigger volume of UAE nationals, and we do that through Bidaya. However, if you can see on the screen, we have another program also called Ruwad. Ruwad program is another interesting program. It's very elite. We hire 20 maximum a year, as we hire them to join a longer, more lengthier program that's 24 months in agreement with our partnership with other organizations such as the Big Four consultancy, Dell, Microsoft, Binance. Those are all our partners with the Ruwad program. They go for secondment over there, and then they come back to Emirates NBD to continue international assignments, internal rotation, and then they end up in a leadership role. So it's a very unique program aiming to hire the top 10% quartile of Emiratis, and that's specifically also for fresh graduates.
Interesting. So, the way you described it, Emiratization should not focus on making Emiratis successful within UAE alone. It should
Correct.
be preparing Emiratis to succeed on a global stage. Did I just hear you describe that? Because that's what it sounded like.
Actually, as an Emirati myself, I have grown to become a globalist. I have grown to become a person with a universal passport. As you know, within UAE, we have like 10% UAE nationals. I have grown throughout my childhood until today. I have friends that are from different nationality. My peers in school were from different nationalities, and we do believe in that. We do believe in having the international mindset as a UAE national in order to grow. UAE nationals that are putting themselves in a bubble and do not want to work with other nationalities is not the persona or the characteristics that we look for within our organization. We really truly believe that we work better together and we work better in diversity, in a diverse community. So that's really attractive when it comes to amortization as well. And I think that's not a challenge with any of our programs today, but we do embed that. We do infuse the global mindsets within our programs, both Bidaya and Rawad.
That's a great perspective.
Thank you so much.
And so, if you were to give any key takeaways or the last words of advice on how emiratization efforts can be made more holistic and efficient, so based on your experiences in your current role, what would those be? So, your nuggets or key takeaways from the way you have experienced emiratization so far.
So, from my humble opinion, what I have been able to work on and the amazing team that I have today, we were able as a team to deliver everything that I have shared. I don't want to take credit to myself. I have 9 people reporting to me, and you can see the team that I have is really has expanded throughout the years because we noticed that wow, this is an area that we can really work on and ensure that we fill in the gap throughout different streams. It's good to know what we have internally within our team so that you can imagine the framework on how we decided to create our framework on connect, empower, and grow. We basically focused on having our amortization partners mostly work closely with different units. So they are assigned to specific units within the organization. They work hand in hand with the HR business partners within different units. So their job is to manage a specific team. Let's say we have an amortization manager who looks after IT. That person knows the DNA of IT and can create solutions for IT in specific, tailored solutions for IT as a unit. And whatever solutions this person will create, I cannot expect my other amortization manager who looks after retail banking, let's say, to create similar, identical, or mirroring solutions. It won't be possible. We do believe that the power we have today with the whole data analysis field, with the whole data points that we can create throughout predicting future, etc., we were able to really identify that you cannot deliver one solution for all. One size definitely doesn't fit all, even though they're all Emiratis. Within the Emirati population and any other nationality, there is diversity. There is a specific skill set that you require, specific gap that you need to fill in specific units. So that's a very important takeaway I would like to give today, which is basically if you decide to plan your amortization strategy, don't think that one size will fit all because they are all UAE nationals. It won't work. You have to really slice and dice your delivery into what will fit with Emiratis working in technical roles, Emiratis working in support related roles. So you'll have to really think this through, and you can't do it sitting in silos. You have to sit with Emiratis in that unit and understand the challenges they're facing. You can easily notice those gaps through interacting with UAE nationals, through interacting with the UAE national management as well. So that's a holistic picture that you need to have before you actually deliver your amortization strategy. Um, I've been very pleased to have this meeting today, and I think you've been one of the most amazing presenters I've met, and thank you so much for that. And you've been able to really highlight very important points that we wanted to mention in this meeting. So I really wanted to thank you before I proceed with my key takeaways.
Thank you. May, you're very kind with your words. I have a couple of audience questions which I can, ask now. Uh, the first one, which is probably you can provide a response for, is that where can someone apply for the reward program? How does one apply for it?
Nice. Thank you for the question. Okay, so reward program is very unique, as we mentioned. It opens the doors once a year only, and we will soon announce the cohort 3. So we have two cohorts that went successful. Every year we have one. So this year our new cohort 3, will start opening the door mid of June or end of June. So stay tuned. We're going to announce that on our social media. And thank you for asking about this program, because we are launching our third cohort very soon. So check us on Emirates NBD on social media, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're going to announce that very soon.
There's another very interesting question. So, what advice can you give to managers who tend to stereotype Emirati employees sometimes?
That's an amazing question. I think we just touched on this point a little bit, but if we can just dig a little bit deeper on this answer, the answer would be you can't give an advice for one person only. If there's a stereotype, I think we need to solve it from an umbrella perspective. And how can we do that? We need to do more of road shows. We need to do more of communication with the line managers, understand what's going on from that prospect. It could be a very unique situation, like case to case basis. The manager could have a challenge with one poor performing Emirati, so they had this stereotype idea. But the better solution is not to solve it just from one person only. Let's give it a big picture. And there's something that I'm sure you agree with me in regards to the change management. In order to create change, you need to create more advocates. And for you to do more advocates, you need to put them in a room and understand how they think and deliver based on their thinking. So, and I'm sure you agree with me, we have so many change management that we need to do whenever we do any changes within any organization. So, when it comes to dealing with Emiratis, my advice is do more campaigns, do more road shows, meet with management. I think you can see we are very busy with an amortization. If you check my LinkedIn, every day we have a different event. And those events are not only to attract Emiratis, we do those events to attract Emirati line managers internally to advertise to them the idea of how you can actually have an Emirati within your team and how can you manage them. Definitely managing them is equal, but how can we remove the stereotyping from the line manager's perspective throughout the big picture?
There's another question, which is, can you share some of the talent development programs that you have tried out in your career?
So can you share some talent? Okay, so when we created Ruwad, we wanted to create a talent pipeline for those fresh graduates. We wanted to work on having those talents from day one as Ruwad program, and then smoothly transition into our current talent program within the bank. So we are working on that. We're looking into reviewing the current talent management program, and then we are going to smoothly integrate Ruwad into it. So we are planning to tick on both boxes. And just think of it, when you have a program such as Ruwad or Bidaya, you need to really think of the aftermath. I can't hire in mass and say, I'm going to hire 20 Emiratis in IT. Okay, those 20, where will they end up after 3 years? Are you willing to promote them all together? Are you willing to keep them where they are, and then they will get another offer externally and they will move external? So we really need to think, not just a Scotch tape solution for right now, find a solution that can be consistent or sustainable solution for the future. And that's one of the sustainable solutions, is basically integrating reward into the talent management program.
That's nice.
Thank you so
I
much.
think we have covered almost all the questions so far. Uh, I just wanted to thank you, May, for this amazing. Some of the work that you have done is really amazing, and I know it is going to inspire other organizations also to, reach out to you, ask you for sharing your experiences in more depth. And
Yeah,
what I find very fascinating is that there are so many expatriates and different people from different nationalities who come to UAE and make this their home.
yes,
uh, I think there is also now the opportunity for uh, all the private sector which operates in UAE to create a workplace which is welcoming to UAE national. And I
yeah.
see some of the strands that you have talked about as being very promising. And I do look forward to further acceleration of this shift. And thank you so much for sharing your perspectives and insight. And I hope everybody benefits from it, and it really marks the further progress for the Emiratisation objective. Thank
Thank
you
you
so
so
much for joining in.
has been very interesting, and I apologize for the start of not being able to hear you really well and transporting around. So, thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. It was really nice. We are very open within Emirates NBD for any benchmarking. I'm available on LinkedIn so that I can transfer any requests into formal requests within Emirates NBD group. We would love to benchmark with other organizations, and definitely share best practices with other organizations too. So thank you so much.
Thank you, May. Thank you, everyone, for joining in.
Thank you.
Have a good day.